Google honored the famed surfer and lifeguard Aikau with a new Google Doodle on the search engine's homepage Saturday. The Doodle featured Aikau on one side of a wave and a lifeguard tower on the other side, both carved in wood. The center wave of the Doodle also featured the Google logo and a surfer riding the wave. The Doodle was animated and the water of the wave moved as did the surfer. The Aikau Doodle went live on what would have been his 73rd birthday. The surfing phrase, "Eddie would go," comes from the surfer's bravery and willingness to always ride the wave, no matter how big it was. Eddie was a pretty quiet guy, but when there was a challenge, or some risk to be taken, or a game to be played that everybody wanted to win, Eddie seemed to rise to the top. He was high risk at an early age, his younger brother Clyde Aikau said, according to Quicksilver. Aikau died in 1978 while trying to paddle several miles to shore on his surfboard to get help for the Polynesian Voyaging Society boat he'd been on that had sprung a leak. At the time of his death he was just 31 years old and his body was never recovered, though the rest of the crew was rescued by the United States Coast Guard. The heritage boat, the Hokule, was retracing the path of the Polynesian migration to Hawaii. The search for Aikau was the largest air-sea search in the history of Hawaii, according to Google. Aikau was a legend for both his surfing and for his abilities as a lifeguard. When he was on duty there was never a fatality in the water, according to Google. In his honor there was a surfing competition named after him called the Eddy. The Eddy competition stands apart from others because it can only be held when the waves reach a height of at least 20 feet. So it has only been held a total of 9 times since it was established in 1985. Facts about Eddie Aikau. He saved more than 500 people during his time as a lifeguard. He was the first lifeguard at Waimea Bay on the north shore of Oahu in Hawaii. He started surfing at the age of 11 and quit school at the age of 16 to work. He was named Lifeguard of the Year in 1971. Clyde Aikau, Eddie's brother, won the second competition held in his honor. Google Doodle honors legendary surfer Eddie Aikau, savior of hundreds of lives. The only life he ever lost in a rescue attempt was his own. By STEV in New Zealand 3rd May 2019 5 p.m. PDT1 Google honors legendary big wave surfer and lifeguard Eddie Aikau. Google Eddie Aikau was an iconic Hawaiian surfer as famous for his prowess on big waves as he was as a lifeguard who saved hundreds of lives from the dangerous surf of Oahu's North Shore. But it's for his final rescue attempt that he is beloved in the Hawaiian community. To honor the legendary surfer and lifeguard, Google dedicated an animated doodle to Aikau on what would have been his 73rd birthday. For almost as long as Google has been around, it's livened up its barebones search page with artwork that draws attention to notable people, events, holidays, and anniversaries. Google Doodles have celebrated, among many other things, Pac-Man's anniversary, Copernicus' birthday, Mother's Day and the World Cup, as well as reminding us of lesser-known real-world heroes. Born in Maui on 4th May 1946, Aikau was a descendant of the high priest Tupukenhua. Aikau was one of those real-world heroes. After his family drop out of school at the age of 16 to take a job at the Doodle pineapple cannery. His paycheck allowed him to buy his first surfboard. In 1967, Aikau was hired as the first lifeguard at Waimea Bay on Oahu's North Shore, where waves frequently reached 30 feet or higher. He is credited with saving more than 500 people during his brief career, never losing a soul on his watch. Aikau also made his mark as a big wave surfer, riding every major swell to hit the North Shore between 1967 and 1978. Eddie was a pretty quiet guy, but when there was a challenge, or some risk to be taken, or a game to be played that everybody wanted to win, Eddie seemed to rise to the top. His younger brother Clyde said in a profile published by surfboard maker Quicksilver. He was high risk at an early age. In pro surfing, Aikau reached a rank of 12th best in the world and won several surfing awards, including the 1977 Youth Kahanamoku Invitational Surfing Championship. In 1978, he was chosen to join the crew of a cultural expedition between Hawaii and Tahiti on the Polynesian voyaging canoe Hokulia. During the 30-day, 500-mile voyage, the double-hulled canoe developed a leak and capsized about 12 miles south of the island of Molokai. In an effort to get help for the crew, Aikau paddled off on his surfboard toward the island of Lanai. The crew was eventually rescued by the US Coast Guard, but Aikau was never seen again. In 1985, a big wave surfing tournament called Quicksilver Big Wave Invitational in memory of Eddie Aikau, aka the Eddie, was established at Waimea Bay to honor Aikau's legacy. Before the competition can be held, the tournament's rules require open ocean swells must be at least 20 feet high, which generally generates wave faces in the bay of about 30 feet. As a result, the tournament has been held only 9 times, most recently in 2016. Clean your phone screen the right way. Follow these tips to keep your phone screen in pristine condition. Apple bets the future on services. What iPhone? Tim Cook says Apple's launch of streaming, gaming and other services is unlike anything that's been done before. Google Doodle honors legendary surfer Eddie Aikau. Savior of hundreds of lives, the only life he ever lost in a rescue attempt was his own. Eddie Aikau was an iconic Hawaiian surfer as famous for his prowess on big waves as he was as a lifeguard who saved hundreds of lives from the dangerous surf of Oahu's North Shore. But it's for his final rescue attempt that he is beloved in the Hawaiian community. To honor the legendary surfer and lifeguard, Google dedicated an animated doodle to Aikau on what would have been his 73rd birthday. For almost as long as Google has been around, it's livened up its barebones search page with artwork that draws attention to notable people, events, holidays and anniversaries. Google Doodles have celebrated, among many other things, Pac-Man's anniversary, Copernicus' birthday, Mother's Day and the World Cup, as well as reminding us of lesser-known real-world heroes. Born in Maui on 4th May 1946, Aikau was a descendant of the high priest to King Kamehameha I. Aikau was one of those real-world heroes. After his family moved to Oahu, he dropped out of school at the age of 16 to take a job at the Doodle pineapple cannery. His paycheck allowed him to buy his first surfboard. In 1967, the first lifeguard at Waimea Bay on Oahu's North Shore, where waves frequently reached 30 feet or higher. He is credited with saving more than 500 people during his brief career, never losing a soul on his watch. Aikau also made his mark as a big wave surfer, riding every major swell to hit the North Shore between 1967 and 1978. Eddie was a pretty quiet guy, but when there was a challenge, or some risk to be taken, or a game to be played that everybody wanted to win, Eddie seemed to rise to the top. His younger brother Clyde said in a profile published by surfboard maker Quicksilver. He was high risk at an early age. In pro surfing, Aikau reached a rank of 12th best in the world and won several surfing awards, including the 1977 Duke Kahanamoku Invitational Surfing Championship. In 1978, he was chosen to join the crew of a cultural expedition between Hawaii and Tahiti on the Polynesian voyaging canoe Hokulia. During the 30-day, 500-mile voyage, the double-hulled canoe developed a leak and capsized about 12 miles south of the island of Molokai. In an effort to get help for the crew, Aikau paddled off on his surfboard toward the island of Lanai. The crew was eventually rescued by the U.S. Coast Guard, but Aikau was never seen again. In 1985, a big wave surfing tournament called Quicksilver Big Wave Invitational in memory of Eddie Aikau, aka the Eddie, was established at Waimea Bay to honor Aikau's legacy. Before the competition can be held, the tournament's rules require open ocean swells must be at least 20 feet high, which generally generates wave faces in the bay of about 30 feet. As a result, the tournament has been held only 9 times, most recently in 2016.